must get coffee. Delicious coffee. Woo! And I think we are good to go. I think we're good to go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode. And by episode, I mean I got lazy and I didn't want to edit, so I made a live session instead of on the Siblings Den channel. My name is Wingless, and I just really didn't want to edit, but there's so much that I've been looking into, what I've been figuring out, what I've been trying to do on Skyblock Sun's latest season 10, and I figured that'd be easier, and then this will give you a chance to live chat with me, ask questions, figure things out together, and go from there. If you know stuff, let me know, but I will be going over what I've discovered, even some tidbits from actually talking with some of the staff members at McHub, just to get an idea of why things are the way they are. And so yeah, we'll be doing a lot of that. We've got some people kind of waiting around as well, but I'm going to be predominantly chatting at first, and then I'll probably have an invite of who it is. Yeah, you're seeing right. There's a lot to talk about, and we'll be going through a lot of that shortly soon. But if you're in the chat, say hi, let me know what it is that you're not sure of while I'm chatting as well. I'll try to be as clear as I can. Hey, LeBron. Wow, is it just me or is it a little louder than I would like on my mic? Okay, yeah, I think it's a little bit better now. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I think we're gonna go through what I've found out, what I've looked into, what are the general things, and then we'll go from there, alright? Sounds cool? I think that sounds cool. Alright, as for the island, I haven't really done too much. This is pretty much still the same thing. I've cleaned it up because I really didn't like the coral, dried up coral gray stuff, but obviously made a farms, a few different farms, a few other different farms, and more different farms. So let me I just don't need the chat at the moment, so I'm gonna hide that. And I'll go through everything, what we've discovered, what we've done, and what we're still looking into. Yeah, even have the big giant row things. This isn't totally done, but I'll explain that one as well. But we have a giant cobblestone generator there. We've got our little setups for our spawners, the farms with the robots, and just in general what we've been doing. So I think the easiest thing to say first to do and look into is it better to mine manual? I'm going to go through all of this. Kevin Council as well. We've got Undead up there as well, and Venom's not on right now, but he's on the island as well. So yeah, lots of things to talk about. But I will be talking about the farming at some point, and I'll explain manual, not manual, robots, all that stuff shortly, and you'll know why. Yes, that was an endermite that just fell out from the sky. Again, I'll explain all of that. Loads to go through one at a time, and I'll go for it. But first things you should look into... Never mind, I do need my chat. Okay, so... quests. This has been one of the ones that have been interesting. Again, no, they haven't updated any of the quests. They're all the same ones as usual, but I'm going to go through them really quickly because my video on the quests still apply, but there's a few addendums to them now, and I want to go through them because you get a lot of good items immediately from these, so it's really worth getting these done at the same time while you're building out what your whole island. Sip of coffee again. Woo! Okay, first one, easy enough. Cobblestone. You can buy it and mine it. You don't even have to build a cobblestone generator. Get 50, you immediately have an iron miner robot. Unfortunately, miner robots are terrible, and I'll explain why very soon, but basically, lumberjack robots are better. still. I'll explain. We'll go through it. So then we've got the next one, which is the wheat one. This is where you get the iron farmer. And already, right off the bat, things that have been great as of recently with quests is that you can stack these robots now. It's not like before where you couldn't. So it's great to keep these, have them. Especially farmer robots right now, they are worth the most this season right now. Even more than grinder robots, which last season was worth more. And I'll go into that as well. But it's great to get an iron farmer robot immediately. And robots themselves in general can be very useful. And the reason why is because of the new system they put in place, which is the mastery. So that's something I'll be going through. But that's why it's really good to get into this. That's why there's the wheats farm that we have it in the back. It was basically for the quest. Same thing it will be for the Netherworks when we get to that point as well. So we get to the skeletons. That's number one, and this goes with the wither skeletons as well. Where did I put it? Yeah. Now, you have wither skeletons and skeleton spawners, and these will count towards your quest total. This was not the case before because we didn't have these spawners before. So if you're someone who's like sick of waiting and having to wait for the skeletons and all that stuff from the PvE area, which they've redesigned and it looks neat and all that stuff, but it's the same problem as before where everyone's just all the time there and it's causing so much trouble, these spawners will get out of that. If you can't afford it, and there's a chance you can't, at least especially the wither one, just check out, there are several islands that have them available for just grinding, just to get the quest out of the way. So this works for the skeletons and the wither skeletons, which are both great to get out of the way. Let's see, skeletons, you get an epic generator upgrade, which is great, especially if you're going to look to overpower your island. And a large credit pouch, good to have a bit more money as well. Then you do the cobblestone one again, which is silly, but whatever. Stack them, break them down again, especially if you've got a good pickaxe. You'll be done this in no time. Mine 75 beacons. Guess what? They actually, at the start of it, they didn't even have that many beacons, if any at all. I think they have to add them afterwards in the PvE area. Just buy them. Buy a stack of 5, whatever, and that if you have a good efficient pickaxe, or if it has a bit of haste, whatever, or have if you already built your beacon with haste, mining haste and stuff like that, just get the beacons done immediately. Every time you mine a beacon on your island, it counts as 2, and it'll just get that one out of the way instead of wasting your time trying to find one. Wait till it spawns. No, just again, it's another one of those, and I'll explain how this is a reoccurring motif at the moment for a lot of stuff that you can get done to try to grind through it, and this will be the same for farming as well as ores and stuff like that. So I'm going to go back to that point across, and that's why I wanted to start with quests. So go back to quests, you get beacons, and this is where you get an endermite spawner. Yeah, that's the guy that's flying, that's all the way at the up here. And you'll see that I have it split into 3 because, 3 of us have put it. I think Venom hasn't finished his quest yet. That's why we only have 3. But, like, these are already tier 4 spawners. So, already, that's great. And you'll see why he's dropping. That's through testing. But, yeah, spawners got already tier 4 from that. So that's already, like, a heads up, especially if you're looking into those with CBU recipes and stuff like that. So already, you're saving money grabbing and getting those already. Let's go completed quests. Then there's the Netherworks, great, and then you get a rare crate key. So that's a good free thing immediately getting it. Wow! I'm trying to say so much information really quickly. But yeah, I'll try to like breathe in between my words now. Cool. So Dark Souls, Wither Skeleton, you get a credit booster 2 times. A reminder to those people who don't realize to do that when you go voting, and I'm gonna do it at the, I'm just gonna go do my last vote that I didn't do yet, so that I could show it to you live. Or am I still pending? I think I'm still pending. Am I still pending G-Kits? Oh, no, G-Kits. Make sure to claim these every time you vote so that you can get... You'll see here that I've gotten spawners 2x multipliers. And those are always going to be 2.5 hours. But you could get one for credits, and you could get one for shards. And these are really useful, as well as getting a key, an additional key on top of everything else. So very useful to do every time right after you vote. And it's the same thing, it's every 24 hours like the vote keys. So worth doing all the time, don't forget that. Just gonna go, yeah, perfect. So the diamond ore one is the one that's been it's been interesting, and you will have to upgrade your island through the island levels. So you've got this guy, or you could do /IS level, and you can do this anywhere. And you want your ore generation tiers to go up, and if you highlight ore generator here, it'll tell you how often you're gonna get diamond ore. And for us, it's the same thing. It's slow for us as well. It's only 0.08%. So this is where something like this little guy, where it's just a big square of just grinding it upwards, you could do that if you want a just smaller area surface type of thing. And then what you could do in addition, and the reason why we, or at least I built this, is so that I could test out other things. Like every season, ever since they messed it up, no worries. Every season when we test this out, I always check if the pickaxe with shard collector is useful, and unfortunately, it's actually gotten worse. At least from what we could see so far. I haven't maxed out a pickaxe yet, and it's going to be expensive for something that's not going to work too well. But this will help at least to get your totals in your ores accumulated, and especially when you need the diamond ores to be sorted out, this is the way to go, where you're going to get a lot of it. You don't have to be this crazy and be this long. Like I said, you could go and make the one that we have here, and this will suffice as well, and then you could just grind that until you get the diamonds often enough. But you will need the levels to be up to get into to get that out of the way. I want to look to see if silk touch is somehow possible to get, but I don't think it's possible. If any tool has the ability for silk touch, you should I believe be able to remove it in an ore, and then you'd be able to remove the ore in the same way and like remine it over and over again. But again, I think it'd be more difficult that way. In this case, this is one of the cases where better to just have a cobblestone gen built up and then like just get on top of it. I think that's where I am with quests right now as well. Yeah, it's a diamond ore, and I've gotten 7. It's only 100, and you get an XL credit pouch. It's not huge, but this is still just something of a bonus, just in case you need more money. But it just gets to the quest, and then I haven't even gotten to the next one yet, so I'm not sure where we're at with that yet. Now, the next thing I want to talk about before I go to talk about the farms and the spawners is the new mastery system. If you go /mastery, if I can spell it correctly, there we go. This has basically become the new skills tree type of thing as before. Before you had skills for grinder, skills for farming, and skills for mining. Yeah, so killing or gathering and farming. Now they've split it up into basically the categories of what you can gather. What's happening now is that as you mine more, the things will be worth more. Right from all the ores, just from cobblestone all the way to what you can mine up in all of the ores, it will start multiplying the value of the items that you can get. The fact that you can combine them with the new condense system that they have, and then having the rune recipe be able to set up, which, by the way, for all of the rune recipes, you have to find like a rune. I still don't know from where, but the recipe itself is just putting it in the middle of a crafting table, and then having a full stack 8 times around that rune in the crafting table. So basically, if this is the rune would be in the middle, and then all around it'd be a stack of 64 of the enchanted, so here, enchanted cocoa beans. So if I wanted ones for enchanted cocoa beans, I would do that and then place it in there, and that would create the specific rune for that. So that's one of the things in Mastery that's going to help you out, and then you will eventually unlock space that you're allowed to add more and more runes over and over again with your rune bags. Thanks, Glad Tricks in the chat. So, you've got that going on. For the ores, you got the same thing for the farming, and then it's just a matter of like refarming over and over again. You'll see that we've already maxed out cocoa beans for very good reasons, and that's because we have our farms. We have our farms right now focused on that, and right now farmers are basically the MO at the moment for the top tier islands. Everyone's looking for them. They're worth its weight in gold at the moment, because people are it's the only way right now that they've found to make any money at the moment, because, well, spawners aren't that good right now. So this is like the basic setup I've always had with my farmers. And then again, as usual, stick to obby robots and then max them out as much as you can on your island until you have all of them being obby. And then if you have spare ones, I would almost tell you maybe look into trading for coins at that point. But otherwise, I would only then merge them with 2 bedrocks. But reminder, as I mentioned before, and it applies this season as well, 2 obby robots are worth more than 1 bedrock. So merging the 2 is just not worth it. It's a waste. Bah. So you've got that going on. That's basically what's the money maker at the moment, is cocoa beans with the robots. And with the mastery, let's just highlight the cocoa beans right now. One thing that you'll realize is the first tier is the farmer robots will contribute to helping you master and get maxed up in the tiers. So as soon as you have a farmer of any kind that has that's active on whatever it is that you have farming, and this goes for ores as well. No, Kevin, I'm doing this for thing. I'm not going to go to dungeon right now. Okay, so the farming multiplies themselves in resources, as well as the robots that start contributing to you getting that mastery as well. So the minute that you've got tier 1, have a robot start helping you farm, or if you have a mining robot, have the mining robot help you with that. And if you've at least reached that tier 1 of that resource, the robots will start helping you reach the where it says next tier requirements, and that'll help you a lot. Because as you look at the list of perks that you get now, well, there's the enchanted version, so when you compound them, that'll be good. And that's I believe, gonna be a huge factor later on. But I'm not there. I'm not at that point where I can confirm that fully. But then the next one is the recipe for the ruin. I have to find an ore for that. But then there's the cell multiplier at tier 4 and tier 6. That's amazing. That means everything I sell is just going to be worth more. So that's amazing. That's exactly what I want. So there is a benefit to manually mine or farm your items at first on your own for the individual items, not just for the quests, but to get the tier 1 for the mastery. And then what you could do is just get your robot working on that as well. And right now, like, this robot is absolutely terrible. Even if I sell this compared to the other guys, this makes maybe $1 million for me, while that makes like 170 million. So like it's gotten, and this is a bedrock robot, by the way, those are obby. So like the difference is so negligible. But just because he's working on all of these cobblestone, pretty much our ore generation is very nominal. Well, right now, that's why our cobblestone right now is pretty much almost maxed. So it says 22,098. If I go check it out again after it just did it a little bit, 0.99. So it's already raising it slowly live right now. Boom, it just made it at 22,100. So already right there, it ends up manually doing it afterwards once you've at least gotten it to tier 1 from the robots. So that's where the robots can come into play with getting the multipliers sorted out. So that's helpful. The resources though right now from ore, not so much. But what's useful at least is when you get it to tier 2 and you can start multiplying, condensing these, those can end up being worth 3 times the value of what it was non-condensed. I think a good example I want to show you will be with cocoa beans. Let's do cocoa beans. Where's my emerald guy? Come here, emerald guy. I gotta empty my inventory. I mean, there's so much you could do, but like, what it is that you want to do is always going to be up to you. No. I wanted to just put it here. Yeah, let's just put the keys there for now. I do need just an empty chest. So, since someone removed my empty chest, Kevin, I'm going to put... I'm just going to put this empty chest here. I'm going to get my emerald guy to give me some cocoa beans so that I could show you how the condense works. Boom. Oh, actually, I should put 2 chests. So, let me just fill that up. Let me get another chest. I should do shop first and then get the chest, so that I could show you what I mean and what's going on. Let's just do that. I need a few more. Cool. So yeah, the condense is going to be a big deal, I think, this season. But it's going to be very hard. Again, it's for demonstrating, Kevin. That's why I told you not to move my things, but it's fine. It's fine. Okay. I think, unless you move that as well, you did. Of course you did. Of course you did. Let's see where you've moved all of the stuff. There we go. So, you'll occasionally get the condensed one. And so, this is a bug, and I reported it, and they fixed it, and I'm happy about it. So, just to let you know, this is like 3 stacks of 9. If you condense it with the condensed one, boop, you hear the jingle. It doesn't give you any prompts, which is funny. I thought it could have, but it only makes 3. So the 9 stacks of them will make 3 of these. So it's not a lot. So it's the equivalent of this as well. However, move. No, don't. I'm trying to explain something. Not right now. Okay. So if I go to get my cell 1 from my vault, if I go and sell this, this is maxed, I get 895,000. That's with all my multipliers, that's fine. If I sell just the 3 that are here, I get 1,342,000. They're basically the same. The only difference is I've condensed this, and it's multiplied the amount that I get from the it multiplies the amount that you get from when it's condensed. So condensing is going to be worth a lot in when set up properly. The problem is here's the issue, right? If I go to a robot, it doesn't condense it. I can sell from it, but I can't condense anything that it holds. So there's got to be a method of having it somehow placed into a collection box in some way, so that when there's multiples of something and you've reached the amount, you could start getting the condensed version of it at that point, to then hopefully be able to sell it and it'll be worth more than the original amount. So there's a lot of benefit to the condensed wand that is going to be worth it at some point. And that's going to be something that we're going to be looking into, where if manual farming, manual grinding of ore, or manual anything will be worth more doing real quick to get well ahead, which might be the case. It might be that if someone wants to like get ahead of in the IS top, there might be some manual work that might be possible to get that done, but it will involve using and having most likely an infinite condensed wand. But you do get these little wands, I think it's like a 500, and it counts for any stack of 64. It counts as one use when you condense it once. So there's that to take into consideration at that point. Just so that Kevin is happy, we'll put the condensed wand back in the condensed chest. Cool. Now, grinders. Oh yeah, there's a guy. Boop. That was a maxed out grinder on a sheep. That's a sheep. I'm still looking into if it'll be useful to use a grinder against a Zoglin, but we're just not there yet. I don't have the money for it. But the thing we have learned about spawners is how are they useful? And right now, you'll notice how we have all of these stacks split up and separated this way. So what have we discovered so far? Right now, you can have a max of 10 of the same spawners. 10 of the same spawners in regards to what it is that you need to to have in an area. It's not specific to a chunk, as far as I'm aware. It's literally your island, 10 of the same, that's it, nothing more. So you can have one area where it's a bunch of them like this, and they will stack on top of each other, which is great, but once you've done the 10, that's it. So there's a limitation there. The next limitation is Kevin, I'm going to say this right now. I'm trying to explain things. Please, if there's things to sell, things to go through, go do it. You can do it yourself while I'm doing the live session right now. You don't need me to sell things for you. You can sell things while I explain things on live. Cool. Now, back to the spawners thing that I'm discussing. You can have up to 10. They're split up, but you'll see that I have these stacked at 100 for some of them. And the reason why is because the way that the stacks work is that they end up only becoming useful as they are in combination up to a certain point. So to give you a good idea, this is a blaze spawner of 1. It's 240. If I go to 1 that's 100, oh nice, 490. But if I remove just one spawner from this, it's now a 245. One stack is 240. If I add it back, 490. So what we found out in regards to how spawners work is that they only start working more effectively in batches of 100, and I think the next one is 200 or 250 type of thing. So that's the issue that we're seeing right now. And so if you have, for example, 10 spawners of the same kind, having them stacked together as 10 is worse than having them split up all into one and having them spread out in like an array like this. And then you'll be able to start explaining, start having more drops happen. And then what you can do is, as time goes by, and here's a good example, we have 2 blaze spawners that are at 100, and 1 blaze that is at 1, and then we're working on another one that is at 32 right now. And once that one's at 100, we'll work at another one at 100, and another one at 100. And that's so far the way that it'll start working a lot better slowly as things move forward. Now, this is something that I thought that was a bug. We reported it and had a discussion in regards to how this works out. It looks like the information that's provided is not so accurate, especially with the fact that people are overclocking their island as well. It's causing like a number influx that just messes with things. So what ends up being the case is that you'll end up having higher results doing this way than the other way. But the other thing that'll eventually be the case is that the higher you go on a higher tier, the better the higher tier will be. But if you have only like one of each from tier 1 to tier 4, the tier 4 items will actually be slower than the tier 1s. But as you start stacking them and you have a better array of stuff, the tier 4 stuff will end up being better. In this case, this is the sheeps are tier 1 for the spawners, and the blazes are tier 2. So far, that's what we've been able to confirm, is that once you get it to a certain point, the blazes will end up being a lot more effective, about 1/4 of the amount of spawners than the sheeps. But you can still kind of brute force it by just buying so many more from the sheep spawners. So that's the huge difference in regards to what's going on with spawners itself this season. So to recap, spawners are limited by 10 of each kind. The mastery still works if you manually attack them normally. Robots will be able to help you once they've reached at least tier 1, so you can get a grinder to help you start maximizing the tiers. So just to show you for the mobs, we have our our sheep is almost reached the 2.5 cell multiplier, but our blaze have already reached tier 6, and that's mainly because of our robot grinder just helping us out once it's reached that point. So it's just stuff like that in regards to what will help you out overall with your spawners, but we don't know if you're going to be able to be as super effective with the grinder array, similar to like last season, to get things out. But I think it might be possible with the tier 4 guys, but we'll have to wait and see. We're not there yet. We don't have the money for it, nor do we have enough grinders for that to confirm, because we do know that one grinder is like eviscerating this stack before it respawns. So we'll have to see things as they go along. So right now, the moneymaker at this time are the farmers, are the ones at this this level of array, and this is just effective on the size of it. But they generally are unable, even with the overclocked. I still don't know what I should do. The mods, I don't know what the mods have done. I can help you with what it is that I'm explaining and how to move forward. But if there's an issue that happened with the mods, you're gonna have to talk to them about it directly. Report, enter a ticket. That's how you're gonna have to do it. This is not the place for that at the moment. So that's the reason why I have these set up. This is gonna be just to get the things rolling at least to tier 1. And then so for the wheats, for the nether warts, for the cocoa beans, for the sugarcane. This is all stuff just to get it done manually at first. I'll probably do it for carrots and potatoes and all that. So no one touch beetroots. No one should touch beetroots. Beetroots suck. Do not touch. I don't care if you want to do beetroots, go away. But it's literally the worst thing to sell. The seeds don't even sell well. So I would almost say carrots are the best on that front, and potatoes. But anything that has seeds, to be honest, is probably just meh. So. But we're going to be looking into sugarcane. We're going to be looking at things that can manually grow. This got removed. I don't know why. But there was, we had kelp in here that was growing. And we were utilizing that in regards to what was going to, we're going to see if like we can maybe do a kelp farm to see how we can move forward as well. So there's that to look into. Just to recap with what I was saying before, this is why this was split into 3, because stacking these together, you got a lot less than you did altogether. And again, you could only stack them up to a certain amount anyway, so it ended up just being better to spread them out rather than stacking them to the max limit that you have. But eventually, with your island levels, you will be able to start, I think you'll eventually be able to start getting a higher max spawner stack, so they'll eventually start getting better at that point and go from there. Oh yeah, now you put the kelp back, thanks. But yeah, the kelp I think grew up to like 4 or 5 height, but I think it varies. I think all kelps vary on the sizes, so that's just something we'll have to look into as well. So that's a lot of what's going on with regards to what the farming is happening right now, and just kind of like how to move forward overall. Farmers, for sure, go cocoa beans. That's really going to be like a starting way to get going. Everyone's looking for farmers, and there's a reason for it, especially the top tier players. But I think there's still a lot to discover as to what's going to get more money going on. And I think the condensed wands are going to be the ticket. The smelter wands, I don't think so. Even selling the condensed versions of the items, like we've just been stacking them here. And oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say as well. Similar to the beacons and similar to the cobblestone and just mining it over and over and over again, you could just do that for the mastery of the other things that you need, at least up to tier 1 for certain items. And the ores, the only one you can't do is diamond ore. It's the only one that's going to be hard, but coal blocks, blocks of iron, blocks of emerald, blocks of lapis, blocks of diamond, blocks of gold, blocks of netherite, iron ore and gold ore. So the only ones that you won't be able to is coal ore and diamond ore. Those are the only ones you won't be able to. But then all the other ones you could just remine over and over and over again until you've gotten at least a level 1. And then have your robot finish the mastery of it. And just so that people are aware, the mastery works for the island, not the individual. So it's similar to what it was before with the spawners. The spawners themselves from last season would only be reflective of the island. The mastery is the same way as well. So the work that, for example, Undead would do for me, what Undead would do for me, and what Kevin Council would do for me for the farming, that accumulates all together. I should be able to send you something after it, but not currently on the live right now. So yeah, so there we go. We have the boosters here. There's pets that I still want to look into, especially for Shard Collector or Lucky. I know that the ore pet, or the mining pet, when it at least triggers the Lucky mining, it can get you lots of shards while grinding. And so there's that to look into when it comes to that. Yeah, Kevin Council, there should be a legend kit in one of the chests if you want to give that. I might also have... Yeah, there's a Sky God one here if you want to give him that. Cool. So yeah, the pets are going to be something to look into. The condensing for sure is going to be something to look into. But I think there's going to be a lot of looking into doing things manually this season that could benefit stuff, especially if you can condense the items instead of just focusing on getting them sold manually. But the biggest help still is the fact that the masteries will do a multiplier. You won't be able to teleport to the island. It is locked. Nobody is able to get on the island for that reason. Oh, we have the fuel. Thank you, Kevin, for that. Cool. So that's a lot of what's been sort of the discussions and the review of things that we've been able to look into. It's kind of crazy how much of things have changed, how much are interesting. There's a lot of loss in certain things. There's a lot of loss in certain things where I have, like the fact that they removed the skills, it means a lot of items that used to be given for free are lost. Like people aren't getting all those free shards or occasional pouches or keys or stuff like that. So that's the thing. But one thing you should look into doing occasionally is the challenges. So here there's like go to the dungeons and kill. There's the mining ores one. There's the flash ones that happen like for 1 hour. For 1 hour, you have a chance to getting a flash one, but you want to get these token balances. I got a monthly crate from the daily. I was just like talking while I was looking into it. I was just like boop boop, like checking out and talking about the bugs regarding the spawners with the McHub guys. And while that was happening, I was just opening the daily ones, and then all of a sudden, I just kind of like stopped and I was like, I just won a monthly from the daily. Holy shit! So that ended up just being like a bonus. So you want to at least look into that. Again, you want to also vote. Voting will get you the keys that you need, and the keys will get you some equipment and tools. And then eventually, you should have a chance to start getting the robots as well. And if you have the farmer robots, start keeping them and start just upgrading them as you get them along. If you want to sell them, just know that right now farmer robots are the higher value right now, so it is worth getting those up and running. Now, ways to get shards. So far, same old. You want to get Swordy Boy. Oh, you know, you put the sword, I think, over here, right? Yeah, that's our sword right now, which also needs to be fixed. Boop. Say hi to Kitty. So right now, same thing. We just today maxed out our sword for souls. That's going to end up helping us with getting shards, but we will be trying to look into seeing if the pickaxe with max haste and then getting shard collector to see if that's going to be worth it. But right now, like again, you see that I've barely upgraded it. But if it's anything like last season, we're most likely going to see that that's not going to be a benefit. But it'll be worth still looking and confirming. I'd rather I spend the money and let you guys know than making the mistake of the other way around. We will be looking to see if grinders will be better once we can get the higher level guys up and running, but we'll go from there. Mainly, a lot of the stuff will be regarding just getting the mastery. So it's going to be really focusing on getting the mastery sorted out, if I can spell mastery properly. Mastery, yeah. So getting the mastery is going to be good, and then getting the rune block. Oh yeah, this is funny. The logs are nominal in being able to upgrade them and stuff like that, and yet they're still probably better than the mining right now. But here's the kicker: your robot only makes ore ones anyway, so there's really, and the only reason we have jungle logs this much is because, well, we need them for the cocoa beans, and we've been moving things around. That's it. Like, it's like some of the things are really cool, and some of the things are almost like tacked on as if it was just tacked on. So I don't get that. at all. Yeah. So that's more or less. Do I have games on my phone? Yeah. Yeah, let's go to question period right now. Do I have games on my phone? I have a browser that lets me play Sudoku and Yahtzee and stuff like that just to waste time. The only game that I have on my phone currently is Raid Shadow Legend, and coincidentally, no, I don't have a sponsorship. No, I don't have Raid Shadow Legends. I used to have a dragon game like a long time ago. Go figure, I have a dragon game on my phone before. But I eventually ended up just removing it. I was done playing it after like a long period of time. I ended up just I just play a lot of the like, it's like a dice game or a Sudoku, stuff like that. Just things, puzzle games. And then I have one game of Risk. I've got a Risk game on my phone that I play, and that ends up, it's only there so that like I know I could beat the game in like 10-15 minutes. I know I can finish a Sudoku in like 8 to 10 minutes, if not faster. No, not Dragon City. It's like World of Dragons or something like that. I forget what it's called, but it was basically like dragons but Pokemon, and it had like 3 tiers, and each tier had like different levels of elements, and so you could have like a space fire breathing water dragon, or you could have a time and space cop dragon. Like everything is just all weird. It was just weird. So yeah. So what are the things that I'm going to be doing on the island, I'm hoping? Kevin Council built these here because he was sick of seeing us make a mess out of just around here regarding the spawner. So this actually did look nice. He just went ahead and bought a Zogling spawner. That just happened. Yes, I'm very familiar with the One Piece one. I cannot tell you why I'm very familiar with the One Piece one on mobile. But yes, it's the ones with all the cards, and you're more or less doing the whole episodic things, but you're fighting like the Marines and like the different guys you can unlock, and you eventually get yeah. Anyway, did you just? Oh no, you just put it beside. So that's gonna be interesting. Actually, how many hits is it gonna take to kill it? Is what I'm curious about. Is sharpness 20 enough? With, let's just say, I'm out with a beacon. Yes, okay, it is. Interesting. I don't like that it dropped a Hearts of the Sea. I know why they did that, but it's silly. But Zoglings are going to be interesting to deal with and get stacked up, because that's what's going to be interesting for Zoglins. Not just for the amount of money that they can give, but also with the grinders. Basically, the Zoglins to me are like the equivalent of what used to be the Guardians before. So it's gonna be interesting in that with that. And he ran away after. Pick up. I'm gonna make you pick it up. Pick it up. There you go. Cool. Alright, I'm gonna put the sword back. So yeah. So that's gonna be something. So that's something that's gonna have to be looked into. But I think this is gonna be a benefit at some point. But I don't know how well. I'd have to shop. I have to check. I want to check the other tier 4s. Polar Bear are the same price? No. Zoglings are just a little bit more. Endermites are how much? The Endermites are finally just as expensive. They weren't before, and this was 1 billion. Yeah. So it's gonna be dependent. What I'm a little bit disappointed, and you can see this on Auction House as well. If you go to Auction House and you take a look at the recipes. The recipes are the same as before, and I think they sell at the same value as they did before as well. So it's going to end up being kind of meh. PvE. Yes, it looks like there's people getting rid of the PvE. Ooh, a mining, not the one that I would want, but dimensional ingot. Okay, gold ingot and ender pearl. Well, this one's going to be useless because you're going to need to get a miner. You're going to have to mine manually. Yeah, the recipes just don't work it out anymore. They made sense before because they would be dropped or they would like die in fire, but now they don't. So like this recipe, it's only if you're mining manually. Like maybe this will be useful. But then so the recipes right now have become kind of an afterthought again, and that sort of worries me because they don't make sense into what they've added. And this is sort of something that I've seen with Skyblock Sun is that like the quests have been the same quest for a while, and they haven't adapted it to make more sense to the changes that have been made. The CBUs they added it around season 5 and 6, I believe. And then once that was done, like it kind of no longer made sense since they made the changes to the new spawner method, so they ended up just not being useful as much anymore. And now it's getting into the same mistakes as they did before, where the collection boxes are becoming less and less useful. Maybe not that they're not useful, but for sure the recipes are just not as effective anymore. So here are just good examples of like the emeralds and all that. It's like it's all ore based now. Unless you can get it to manually drop, like this would make sense if people could create like a TNT machine, TNT farm and stuff like that. But I know why they don't allow it, because it would end up slowing things down, right? So that's kind of what they're avoiding doing. Grinding stuff, that's cool, but not ones I would get. I may want a one that has a mining one that has the whole lucky mining, and then I'll be able to see if that might be worth it. But like right now, none of the CBU auto crafting recipes look useful in any way, shape, or form. It would have made a lot more sense if they've adapted these to be reflective of the new spawners. So that's a little bit off. Yeah. Some people are selling hoppers for way too much. I think this is funny. I don't know who would need hoppers, that many hoppers of that. Just yeah, see, that makes sense. Like cash, I could see, like, yeah, okay. I'll buy that for 500. Why not? Look, I made someone's day, I think. Everything else is just meh. So yeah, I'm buying the hoppers, the ore ones, just to be on the side, but like, I could use the CBUs as well. It's just, you can see how I stack them here. I have so many of them. So they don't do too much, but yeah, you do want to focus on your upgrading. You want to get the levels up. They'll help you in general with not just the max robots. It increases the cell multiplier. It improves your ore generation. It helps your multipliers, but especially for the crop growth, at some point, like, it will start getting much higher for crop growth. Actually, not by much. Okay, crop growth doesn't gain that much. Where am I at right now? Yeah, I'm at 0.05, so crop growth is nominal, but it's still better having it than nothing at all. And then island sizes, it's all up to if you're going to be building more stuff or not at that point. For enchantments, if you're going to focus on PvE stuff, you do want to make sure that you get, like, I would say find a way to get yourself a grinder set for armor, and then like upgrade that guy. And then for, people are still, like, I'm not as familiar, but usually people are into the axes a lot more than the swords. I would say swords make more sense for the for grinding. Add souls onto that and grind here. I do believe axes are still very effective. Here's the thing that might be useful information, and this dates back from information that I've had from when I was farming a lot manually, is you want to look into getting a hoe potentially upgraded if you're going to be doing things manually. And the reason why is it's going to become more effective to get all of the stuff redone without having to replant them over and over again. Maxing out Green Thumb, chance to replant crops when harvesting. That'll make it things very easy when mining. And then there's Crop Drill, breaks crops in a straight line in the direction you are facing. So this will give you I think like 30, like if you max it out, it's like 30 crops ahead. It'll farm it out, so you can farm from left to right, a whole like chunk field in no time at all. And then if you have the collection boxes that are nearby, it should be able to pick those up, have those, then start having the condense one to condense the stuff that's in there. And so there is a lot of potential for crops to be a way to go. Stems and crops that are not fully grown can't be that's okay. I would kind of ignore that. It's a one-time thing if you're focused on watermelon, but it's not really needed. Crop Drill, I'm pretty sure, is good. Efficiency reduces the time it takes to break a block. This won't be a factor at all when it comes to the farming, so don't worry about really efficiency. Again, this is more against things like drill, melons and pumpkins, which you don't really need. So Green Thumb for sure. When used with Green Thumb, has a chance to be planted at a higher growth stage. This sort of, it's 3, so why not? But it's really unnecessary. The one that you probably want to work on getting more is Green Thumb and Crop Drills. These two are probably the next thing that I'm going to look into and just farm the crap out of it. And if I can get a multiplier, like let's just say, just think about it. If I could get, I wouldn't, okay. This is the reason, here's the reason why people will do cocoa beans with robots and not nether warts. The reason why is the robots, in the distance that it's able to work at, can only farm so fast at the speed and the efficiency that it's at. Even at max, it'll never clean up all of these by the time it gets reset. So in that point, the one that gives the most value, that is the most efficient to gather, is going to make you the most money. Now, if you do this manually though, nether warts is technically the higher value, but it takes a lot longer to grow than something like carrots or wheats or potatoes. The reason I would highly suggest carrots though is carrots don't have poison potatoes like in Poison, and won't have seeds like wheat or beetroot. For the love of God, don't do beetroot. If you just want seeds, do beetroot. So that's why carrots, I will tend to focus on that side of stuff as well. But if you can get something like a row of things like this done, oh, well, it might be harder to manually get done. If you look at one of the older farming videos that I have, you literally can circumvent the difficulties of farming either a melon or pumpkin or cocoa beans just by putting carrots in front of it. And just that will mine the whole row of it behind it as well, in addition to everything else. So there's so many little tactics that can be worked on and done that can help you farm. And if you've got a whole strip row of them, it can be the way to go. I'm not going to promise you, I'm not going to be one of those guys who are like, oh, this is the money making method. No. It still needs to be looked into. What I can tell you is that what everyone's doing right now is farms. These type of farms with these farming robots. That's what's currently making a lot of money right now. Selling this guy when he's full, for me is 170, 160 million each. So times that by how many robots I have, it's just shy of 1 billion. That's where I'm at right now. So it's a matter of looking into alternatives that can increase that or decrease that. My bedrock robot over there is, once it has, like, I'm ready to sell that one, 1 million. That's peanuts. The freaking lumberjack robot, which is usually the worst, is now more effective and will get you something like 30 or 40 million at an obby level. So why would the miner's terrible? Even with the mastery and multiplier and stuff, it's, by the way, if you're selling from the robots, the mastery multipliers count. So in case you were wondering, and in case it wasn't made clear, mastery counts when you sell them from a sell wand, from your robots, or manually from your hand, stuff like that. So that multiplier works. So yeah, condensing, I believe same thing. So that's going to be a big deal. We're going to be looking into the Zoglins a little bit more and see what happens. But again, yeah, as you can see, if you're too far away from them, and it will disappear and will unspawn, which is something I was trying to explain and I mentioned to Kevin Council before. If they're too far away, it's not going to be, they won't stay, they get despawned. So you will have to have things close by, especially like with spawners, or you have like active members that are like staying nearby things, so that things will continue being active. And especially if you want your robots to continue working, well, you need to be near those as well. So make sure that it's built in a way that it has everybody working together at that point. Hey, Gavin. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, I'll stay around for a little bit. It was mainly, I was mainly just doing it so I could avoid editing. There was just so much information, and I didn't want to start going like through them one at a time, and I wanted to make sure that the information was opened up. But yeah, there's so much still going on with this season that I'm going to look into. I do go out of my way to enter reported bugs or stuff like that happens. So like when they do happen, I do want to let them know, and they tend to either tell me if there's a bug and they fix it, or they'll end up working on explaining what's going on. So right now, everyone's doing farmers, cocoa beans with the top tier, because they just don't know what to do otherwise at the moment. Spawners have been nerfed, and not nerfed, but just placed in a different way. So there might be a way to like maximize this, but the initial stuff is not so much great. But again, if you want to split them up at level 1 until you have all 10 split up, and then start upgrading them at each level interval that multiplies them by 2 to be more beneficial. So in this case, go to 100 for each stack, and then once you're at each stack at 100, start upgrading the next one all the way to the next multiplying stack, so that you can see the difference. We will look into eventually getting the Zoglins done and see if that will work out to being good with a grinder. But at the very least, whether it's a grinder, whether it's a farmer, whether it's a miner, or whether it's a lumberjack, if you want to go into the wood business, make sure you manually do things up to tier 1 of the mastery, so that those robots can help you increase your mastery, which will eventually get you the multipliers for the perks, where you'll end up getting 2 times and then 2.5 times as well. And then you also want to look to get the enchanted versions of those items as well, because I'm confident there's a way to get those condensed and make sure that you get a lot more out of it. So really forward to looking into that. If there is something that comes up and I'm confident that it really will up the game, I will let you guys know. You can message me on Discord. You can message me on well, Discord, in the channel, in the Discord Siblings Den Discord channel, and I will be glad to respond or look into it. But I will have that information there as well. But I think that's pretty much it. As well, if there's ever any new episodes, any ideas, other little items that I have down, don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and make sure that you provide you can ask the questions there as well, either in the comment sections or in the Discord channel, and I'll do my best to respond. Mort might respond as well, and then we'll go from there. But given that I'm the one who plays MC Hub for the most part, it'll most likely be me responding. But if it's any like suggestion ideas on what to do for us to do next on our channel, let us know. That'll be great. Oh, the season's weird. On one hand, I think it's great that there's all these changes, and I like that there's changes. On the other, it's trying to figure out how to move forward. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. There's not much else to really add. If you need fuel, go to the dungeons, attack the mobs there. Even if you like get kicked out often, just getting the fuel for that for your generator will be great. Overclocking it eventually will help you out, but will need generator the little generator add-ons to be placed on your big island generator. That's gonna help, and then we'll see where things go with like manual farming and stuff like that, and go from there. Woo! All right, this saved me a bit of editing, but I think it'll be a smaller live session that people can watch without too much of a headache. But I think that's going to help a lot of people kind of get a better understanding of what to look into and what to do to move forward. Whether they want to work on spawners and getting the soul swords sorted out, they want to look into maybe enchanting a pickaxe and getting that sorted out, and potentially maybe even looking into farming manually and moving ahead that fast and seeing if that makes a lot of money, especially with the condensed one as well. That's all I've got. Thank you very much. Really wanted to have this out as soon as possible, because if I was gonna like record it, get all the parts, and then have to edit it, it was gonna take a little longer. So this seemed a little bit easier. It seemed a little bit less destructive, and then I could just answer whatever that was coming in. Not much direct questions came up other than just what's the best, but I think that's gonna help for now, and then we can go from there. So thank you very much. For those that are watching it afterwards, after the live period, leave a comment down below or subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Woo! And last but not least, thank you very, very much for all the subs. You guys have been amazing. We're past 900, or we got to 900. It fluctuates a little bit, but it's nice to see that it's going upwards in a trending fashion. And we're looking forward to moving even further up as soon as we can. And can't wait to have the additional options available once we reach 1,000, and then see what we can offer. Maybe more emotes in the chat, more options for people that want to be full-time members. We'll check it all out. It would be great to offer to people and go from there. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. God bless all of you. And oh yeah, Canadian Thanksgiving for those that just had it. I hope you guys all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Yeah. And those that are gonna have Thanksgiving later, I'll thank you then as well, but can't wait for those as well. Woo! Have a good one. Bye. Bye.